and welcome to Too Many Movies, the podcast where we discuss DVDs, Blu-rays, and even the occasional bullshit that William makes me watch. William,
we watched fucking Showgirls.
We watched Showgirls. Episode 54. We watched Showgirls. William, let's give a rundown for the audience. What happened? How did we get here?
Okay, so one morning, it was the first of, I guess it was, I don't know if, no, it wasn't the first of April. It was like towards the end of April. Vinegar Syndrome, the boutique Blu-ray label, announced their halfway to Black Friday sale flash pre-orders, which were the actual sale will be going like a month later. But they did it for just the weekend. You could pre-order some of the big announcements for that early to get your order in first.
Mm-hmm.
And the big thing from that was the Vinegar Syndrome Ultra, Ultimate, whatever, which term do they use? Ultra. They use their big box set versions. They have you got the movie. Usually it's in 4K. It comes with a booklet and this nice big hard case.
Mm-hmm.
And the movie that they announced was the infamous Showgirls by Paul Verhoeven. So I told Hal, hey Hal, Showgirls is getting a 4K.
Yep.
So then I dared him to buy it, and he said, it's already in my cart. And I said, oh yeah, well, it's in my cart too. Yeah, why don't we do an episode on it then, huh?
Yeah, motherfucker, let's do an episode on it.
Yeah, let's fucking do it then. Yeah.
And then months later, I get a very nice-looking box from Vinegar Syndrome with the Vinegar Syndrome logo on it. I open it up, and I go, God damn it, the bit went too far. I bought Showgirls on 4K.
And let's specify this. This is a free disc set, so you get the 4K disc of the movie, and then 2 Blu-ray discs, one which has the movie on it and some small bonus features, and then a second disc with just a bunch of bonus features on it.
Showgirls. We bought Showgirls.
Well, okay, like, shout-outs to Vinegar Syndrome, though, just in general.
Oh yeah, no, they're a company I've been very excited to talk about my Vinegar Syndrome collection. I mean, when I say collection, I mean like 3 movies.
3 things.
Yeah, I have like 3 things, but like there are 3 things that I really like Tammy and the T-Rex, New York Ninja.
Now
Showgirls, for crying out loud.
They because, like, the whole point of Vinegar Syndrome is it's all for film preservation. Like,
yes.
The name itself comes from, like, the actual term Vinegar Syndrome in film, which is when film itself starts to deteriorate to a point where, like, it's in danger of becoming unwatchable, and, like, the chemicals in it start to, like, deteriorate, and it smells physically like vinegar. That's where they get the name from.
Yeah.
The point of Vinegar Syndrome is to prevent Vinegar Syndrome.
Yeah, no, exactly. No, they do great stuff.
They take, like, movies no one else would give a shit about normally and just give them the A-list treatment. And they've come, like, they start with porn, just outright porn. And, like, nowadays, like, they're come so far, like, they got stuff from Shout Factory. They did, like, a big 4K release of Roadhouse with Patrick Swayze. They did Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2.
Yeah.
They did Amityville Horror on 4K. Like, they've come up.
Yeah, exactly. They started in porn, and now they do Showgirls. Wait, you said they moved up.
Well, they still got to stick to the roots.
Yeah, no, of course. Fair enough. They got to stick to the roots.
They're doing Gorgo on 4K. They just announced that earlier this month.
Oh, I'm sure Leonard Maltin is proud.
Yeah.
Wait, no wonder you've made Leonard Maltin like your obsession the past month or so.
No, that was a coincidence.
Oh, okay.
I already did that, and then they announced, oh, by the way, we're doing Gorgo on 4K. Like, what a coincidence. This is the year of Gorgo.
This is the year of Gorgo, when no year should ever be the year of Gorgo.
It's got a cult fan base, but I'm not really part of it, surprisingly. I
like
like the monster itself, though. The monster's cool.
Oh, the monster. I mean, just saying the name Gorgo is funny, and I like the Mystery Science Theater 3000 episode where they have Leonard Maltin, like, holding them hostage by showing them Gorgo. Like, that's funny.
Now, I like Gorgo, but it drives people to insanity.
Yeah, exactly.
I recommend Gorgo.
I recommend Gorgo, exactly. Funny stuff. But I've seen Gorgo twice now, and it's done nothing for me. It is a miserable movie. But speaking of miserable movies I've seen twice, Showgirls.
Okay, so do we just want to get right into it, or do you want me to, we still want to talk about the Blu-ray, just what you get with it, and go in the bonus features real quick?
Just go into the bonus features. I mean,
Yeah, because this show's about the Blu-ray, technically.
this is about the Blu-ray, and plus the fact I can't imagine a lot of people who follow us know what Showgirls even is. Like, they've heard of it, but I doubt they've even seen it. So we'll get to the plot eventually. Don't you fret.
Yeah, to preface it, Showgirls is a very... It's an infamous movie. It's a lot of critics deem it as one of the worst movies ever made. Spoiler, it's not.
No, I mean, look.
But it's infamous.
Yeah, I'm making this show. I'm putting up a show of being all negative and stuff. It is just for show. It is mostly for comedy. Objectively speaking, this is not the worst thing ever made.
It's just one of the things ever made.
It is one of the things ever made.
The poster's kind of funny where she just looks like a giant leg.
That is the funniest fucking thing in the world.
I know that the intention is that she's wearing a black robe that's covering most of her body.
Yeah, exactly.
But she looks like a leg.
She just looks like a leg. Yeah, Nomi Malone just looks like this giant leg person, and it's the funniest thing in the world. But yes, please talk more about the Blu-ray.
Okay, so you got the 4K disc, which has the NC-17 cut of the movie. Presented in HDR and newly restored from an existing studio master with 5.1 surround mix, 2.0 stereo mix, and a commentary track called "The Greatest Movie Ever Made" with David Schmader. And it should be specified that the master that they used was Verhoeven's own director-approved color-graded master.
That's cool. Yeah. And it does look great. It does look great.
The transfer looks amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. Honestly.
I watched the 4K disc. I don't actually have a 4K TV yet, but even then, I can tell, this just looks really well done.
Yeah.
Again, they're taking, the bottom of the barrel stuff and giving it the A-list treatment and marketing for the collectors. We haven't even talked about, the fact, the Vinegar Syndrome slipcovers are, way thicker than a normal slipcover, and they're just really nice.
Yeah, no, that is something I've noticed. It's a lot sturdier, so I feel like it'll last longer. That's awesome. More movies should get that kind of treatment and not just Showgirls, you know?
Well, Vinegar Syndrome does it usually for most of the releases. You always got the option of, here you get the limited edition slipcover and then just a standard version if you want to save a few bucks.
Right.
Most people want to get that slipcover though, because they're really nice slipcovers.
Oh, they're so nice.
They're nice. All of them are full art spreads. All of them, I should say that.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Blades has that full art spread even.
Oh yeah, Jaws but with lawnmowers.
Yeah, literally Jaws with lawnmower for the record. It's point for point the plot of Jaws, but it's a lawnmower.
I know. We'll get to it someday.
Then there on the second disc, it has everything from the 4K disc plus the trailer. And then the second Blu-ray disc is all the bonus features.
Yeah.
More Vegas than Vegas. An interview with director Paul Verhoeven. You gotta gamble if you're gonna win. Interview with screenwriter Joe. I don't know how to pronounce that name.
Joe, I wrote for Showgirls. That's his name.
Yeah. Well, he also wrote for Basic Instinct and Sliver.
Right. Other movies that I assume are more beloved.
Notable.
Yeah, notable.
Probably.
That's a better word, yeah.
All That Glitters, filming Showgirls, interview with cinematographer Joss Vacano and performance lighting designer Peter Morse. The Rhythm of Chaos, interview with co-editors Mark Helfrich and Mark Goldblatt. Born to Dance, interview with actress Rena Riffle, that would be... I don't know who that is.
Good question.
She was in Mulholland Drive.
Oh, but that's not Showgirls.
Free lap dance with every large popcorn. The Cult of Showgirls. Interview with Midnight Mass podcast hosts Peaches Christ and Michael Verratti.
Okay, yeah, no. Rena Riffle. She was Penny / Hope.
Okay.
Yeah, that's who that was. Sorry.
Okay. Special behind the scenes featurette. A Showgirls Diary, and then the best bonus feature on here is the final one. Lap dance tutorial featuring the world-famous girls of Scores.
And
there's also an entire essay booklet. It's a actual bound booklet too.
Again, for Showgirls.
There's multiple 2 big essays on the movie. There's an essay on the movie, and then I think there's an interview of some of the people who worked on the movie in here.
Yeah. I mean, this is all fascinating stuff. Like this, like, of course I want to, I mean, if this was a gigantic failure, of course you want to know more about that. Like, that's what I was saying in the Flash episode. Like, I want to know more about the Flash and how it became such a gigantic failure. So Showgirls was a gigantic failure back in the day. So of course, I want to find out as much as possible with this.
They also got like the credits in the back of the booklet that just say about who all helped with restoration. Like they said, release producers: Ryan Emerson, Joe Rubin, Ralph Stevens. Digital restoration performed: Path. Additional restoration from Vinegar Syndrome. Just list who was involved in the making of this.
Yeah, and that's important.
Package and booklet design: Haunt Love. That's a base name. Package art director: Justin LaLiberty. Base name. La Liberty.
Yeah.
What a gamer.
What a gamer.
And good job. You did the package art. Good job.
Yeah.
It's good artwork.
It is very good artwork.
It's both. It's just ass. Like it's a woman with her on top staring, and like you just see her backside. But yeah,
it's a girl
it's nice
that she's
art.
showing. Yeah.
And it's the same artwork on the discs. So like in the middle of the discs, you just see a hole where the ass would be. They did that on purpose.
They did that on purpose.
And like the actual hard case itself, which I should specify, like it's a nice big thing, and you get both the Blu-ray and the booklet there.
Mm-hmm.
And they always include the little fabric strap in it to help you get them out, like you would like a fancy book.
Yes, yeah, it's very cool.
There's a bunch of the posters that are in the movie on here. Like the main one that holds the thing in, it's that A Private Dance by James Smith poster.
I was going to say, Saturday. Yeah, I was going to say it's the exact poster from in the movie, so that's really cool. Yeah, and then you have like the posters off to the side that say like Goddess at the Stardust Casino starring Crystal Connors. Yeah, no, so it's like actual in-universe posters within the movies. That's really neat.
There's a lot of love in here for this.
There's a lot of love.
Again, this movie has a cult following, to be fair.
Yes, that is very true. Even though we were saying, like, it was a gigantic failure back in the day, as is tradition with gigantic failures, they
get a cult following.
They get a cult following, whether
and I can kind of see where that comes from to a point.
Exactly. Yes, I do too. To a point. But again, also this was the 90s where the VHS craze was insane. So like, I don't think people wanted to go see Showgirls in a packed theater. I think they wanted to rent it on VHS and bring it to the privacy of their own home.
I think I should also specify that this one has specifically the NC-17 cut.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming there's an R-rated cut too that was probably actually shown in theaters. I doubt they showed the NC-17 version there.
Yes. Now,
which we get to talk about NC-17 later with the next movie too, because that is relevant.
That is relevant. That is very relevant. But yeah, no, I mean, trying to imagine this movie as anything but NC-17 is hilarious because it would probably be like what, 5 minutes.
like you'd have to cut around so much stuff.
Yeah, and what
counts? I'm sure it's like it's probably like a noticeable amount shorter because this movie is like over 2 hours long.
Yes, it is very long. So do you want to get into like, more specific things about the movie outside of the Blu-ray, like what the
there's not much left to talk about with just the Blu-ray itself. We already said our piece.
Yeah, exactly. It's a nice Blu-ray. It's very cool looking.
If you're gonna get Showgirls, that's the version to get.
Exactly. You don't want to get like some crappy DVD or crappy Blu-ray, or crappy VHS. Like, you want the nice 4K of Showgirls because a lot of love went into that. Now, the actual movie, that's a whole other beast. So,
do we want to just do our general thoughts first and then go deeper, or do you want to save that for the end?
We can go with general thoughts first, and then like really go in deeper. Cause so this was your first time watching it, right?
Yes. Yeah. I've known about it from association just because of how infamous it is.
Right.
I have seen the poster.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard people talk about it. I've seen people say terrible. I've seen people say amazing because, you're always going to get both sides. And I watched it and it's fine.
Yeah, no, I
expect to be completely flabbergasted by this. No, it's just fine.
Yeah, that's the thing with this movie. So I watched it once before, and I'm pretty sure it was because of Sardonicast. Like years and years and years ago, I watched it because they were going to talk about it on the podcast, and so then I watched it. and then listen to the episode. And so then when I watched it, I was like expecting like this. Well, so yeah, I was the same way. I was like, oh, I'm hearing people saying it's one of the worst things ever because it is that infamous thing. But then also people are saying, no, it's actually secretly brilliant. It's actually very, very cool. It's from the same director as RoboCop. It can't be that bad. And then you go in and watch it and you're just like, huh, this is fine. Like fine at worst, I would say. Well, that's the thing. It's like fine at worst, fine at best. It's a movie. Like,
Yeah. Like, I mentioned this to you yesterday because we did talk a little bit about it then.
yes.
Plot-wise, this is basically, like there's always those movies that like a starry-eyed girl who wants to make it in showbiz. They go to New York for Broadway, or they go to Hollywood to be a movie star.
Exactly.
And they're like they're always big dreamers. They want to make it big, then they have to deal with the big seedy underbelly that tries to break their dreams.
Exactly.
It's that plot, except it's in Las Vegas.
Yeah, which
means that she doesn't actually care about being a star. She just wants to be a showgirl. She wants to be a dancer in Vegas, which implies, okay, so she's going to be a stripper. Got it.
Right, exactly. Yeah, at least with something like taking place in LA and New York, like you have Hollywood to look forward to. You have Broadway to look forward to. Like you have these, like, yeah, they have the seedy underbelly, no shit. But like they're in that industry to then make it to like the non-seedy industry.
And in those movies, it's the fact of the matter is the seedy underbelly is there as like the juxtaposition.
Right.
It's meant to be a surprise that like the glitz and glamour of Hollywood and Broadway. It's so beautiful, so great, but there's this big evil underneath it.
Well,
so
yeah,
like,
exactly.
That's the conflict.
Exactly.
Vegas is fucking Vegas.
Yeah, Vegas, yeah, they wear its sleeve. Vegas wears its sleeves on its sleeve. Like
Vegas is known to be like the big hotbed of like all the vices, drugs, sex, alcohol, gambling, everything.
Yeah,
like that's all known. There is no mask there.
Exactly.
You know what it is, so there is no juxtaposition. It just is what it is.
It's a fucking theme park of a city. Like you don't expect it to be real, but
like
you
go
it's a
there,
real
like
city.
the one scene where like she goes to dinner with Crystal, you see like fake Roman architecture at the one restaurant because it's Vegas. They have fake versions of everything.
Exactly. Yeah, no, it's a fake city. I refuse to believe it's real, but it is real. That's why I always found it kind of weird that the show CSI takes place in Las Vegas, and then like there's scenes in like real buildings and real houses, and I'm just like, I thought this was
a tourist
Vegas.
attraction.
Yeah, it's a tourist attraction, but then there's like subsequent actual city life. Like, I mean, there's an infrastructure there because it's a fucking major city in America, so of course there has to be some sort of infrastructure, but because it's just so glitzy and glamorous and just everything about it is so sleazy, you're just like, how is this real? Like it's like if Times Square was the entirety of New York City,
Yeah.
Like, it's just weird to think about. Or if, like, Disney World was, like, an actual, like, city in the United States. Like,
well, Walt wanted it to be.
Yeah, Walt wanted it to be.
He wanted to make an actual city.
No, he definitely
did.
Thank
God he didn't.
Goddamn Star Wars hotels costing $5,000 a day. No, thank you.
Like, go watch the Defunct Land video on Epcot. It'll tell you everything.
Yeah,
Holy
definitely.
Shit. Good thing he's dead now.
Yeah, good thing.
But it's like there is no surprise when people are getting taken advantage of, or when people betray people, or like take advantage, like act sleazy. Because it's Vegas. You knew that was going to happen.
Well, exactly, and that's the other thing. It's like, what exactly is the end game here? Like Nomi is this character, like the typical character of like, oh, I'm here to be a star. It's like, okay. Why Vegas? Like, why are you here? Like, you're just being a stripper. And then it's like, and there's that scene where like, she meets James. I forget like which scene she's with James, where like James is like saying like, at least at the Cheetah, the strip club that she's currently working at, where she's showing her tits and her ass. It's like, that's honest. Whereas like if she's her dream is to then play at the Stardust, but like, that's also where she's showing her tits and ass, but like she's putting on like more of a show with that. And he's like, at least with the Cheetah, that's honest. And it's like, true, again, why then? Like, that's a good point. Why are you here if you're just like not really moving up in any sort of industry? Like, you're just doing the same thing except more like, yeah, like he said, they're lying to themselves, like in with the Stardust show, where it's like, we're trying to pretend it's not what it is,
I guess, like, cause like we see the movie starts with her, like, she's in, like, I think, like, Colorado or something, because there's snow everywhere, so I'm just assuming it's Colorado.
Something like that, yeah.
And, like, she is hitchhiking, she only has a suitcase to her name, no money, so
Mhm.
it's like, you literally have nowhere to go, and we get hints throughout the movie that, like, her family just does not exist anymore, her mom is in, like, prison or something, everyone else is dead, and she's already been, like, a hooker for years at this point.
Right.
So she has nowhere to go anyway.
Mhm.
So it's like, this is like the only thing I can do. So I might as well go to Vegas to get some kind of money.
I suppose, yeah, in that regard, sure, I can see that. But again, she's still like shocked that the Stardust is so sleazy. I don't know. Or maybe like I get the feeling that the movie wants the audience, us as the audience, to be shocked that like the Stardust is just as sleazy than like, your typical strip club. It's like, yeah, but again, it's Vegas. Like,
Yeah,
I'm
like,
not at
I
all
didn't get any of
surprised.
that.
I don't know.
I
Maybe,
kind of just took like, so much of this movie I kind of just took at face value.
sure.
It just, to quote, like, even Nomi, like, eventually James, like, it is what it is. Shit happens.
Yeah, no. You know what? I think the thing that I'm getting is because it's directed by Paul Verhoeven, I'm expecting some sort of social satire here, because the dude made RoboCop, which is one of the greatest social satires of all time. So like, I guess maybe that's me putting my biases because I'm familiar with the director's other work, in which case I'm disappointed because that's not what the movie's about.
Where if there's any satire, it's just the fact, like, it is like one of those, like, New York Hollywood type of movies, but it's about Vegas. Like, that feels like if there's any satire, it just is that literal fact that it is what it is.
Sure, in that case, I can kind of see that working, but it doesn't have that. Well, it doesn't have any of that. Like, it doesn't have like an angle, like you were saying. It just is that.
Yeah. Like, the only time I really ever get, like, any sort of, like, oh, this is, like, actually really fucked up, or, like, that really bad, was, like, towards the end when, like, her friend, I think her friend Molly,
Yeah, Molly.
the girl, when she finally meets, like, the celebrity that she loves, he immediately takes advantage of her.
Yes.
And, like, that's what I mean by takes advantage of. I'm not going to say the word outright, but you know what I mean. And that's the only time I ever get that, like, okay, yeah, that's fucked up. But then again, also, that kind of scene also just kind of happens in those other movies, too.
Right.
And again, like, and I do like, though, that the way Nomi responds to that is to go to that guy's house and just beats the shit out of him.
Yeah. Exactly.
And then no repercussions, just, I'm just going to beat the shit out of that guy.
Yeah, you're just going to beat the shit out of that guy. And then, well, because, like, that's, like, the end where, like, that's literally, like, the end of the movie. She's, like, just walks away from the whole town and is just like, I'm done. I'm gone. And she moves on.
I will say, I do like that ending stinger, though. Like, she's at the beginning of the movie, she hitchhikes with this guy named Jeff in a truck, who then steals her suitcase when they finally get to Vegas, and we don't see him again at all until the very end of the movie, when Nomi is now hitchhiking again to leave Vegas, and she just so happens to get on the same truck.
Yeah, no, that's very clever. I like that, Jeff kind of bookends the movie in that sort of way.
Pulls out the knife. Give him my fucking suitcase.
Yeah, he's like, okay, we'll get your suitcase. It's like, are you just saying that, or do you actually have her suitcase still? Like,
probably stashed somewhere.
Somewhere, that's true, yeah.
I will say, like, the movie also ends with, like, you see, like, the billboard for LA, so I don't know if, like, the hint is she's going there next, or if it's just whatever.
I mean, because, like, the movie has the twist reveal, where, like, Kyle MacLachlan's character, you called him Bully McGuire,
because he looks like Bully McGuire.
He does. Yeah, no, I'm pissed at myself for not coming up with that that comparison sooner. But, like, yeah, so he was like, they, like, find out who she really is. She's like this girl named Polly, and her mother died.
See you later, Pollyanna.
Polly. I just got that. I'm such a dumbass. Do you think that was intent? That has to be intentional.
Well, Pollyanna is also just like a general word itself.
Right. But then
I don't think that was technically intentional, but like it fits.
Yeah, I guess. Like, is it supposed to be like a pseudo like foreshadowing? I guess. I don't know.
Maybe that guy had no way to know that though.
I know, but I'm saying, is that like for
he's a
us
prick, but he's not a genius.
Right. He's the best prick. But like I'm saying, like is that like foreshadowing for us, the audience, more so than like actual in universe characters?
I doubt it. I'm pretty sure it's just a coincidence. It's just funny.
Okay, yeah, it is funny. But anyway, yeah. So
there's a lot of funny lines in this movie. I don't know if they're
God.
intentionally funny or not. I can't tell.
Man, everybody got AIDS and shit. Yeah, no, there's so many lines.
Yeah, we'll say them later. That what you typed in the chat yesterday, but we'll get to that.
Exactly. But anyway, my point being that, like, yes, Zach, the character Zach, Bully McGuire, he finds out about her history, how she's like a girl named Polly. Her dad killed her mother and then killed himself, and like she ran away from the foster home, and like she has like this criminal record. And
there's like hints to it throughout the movie, because like she never gives like a straight answer of where she's from. Different places.
Different places.
She gives them the wrong social security number. She's like, "What's her social?" I don't know. I'll get back to you on that one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
we hear her say she's from New York at one point. We never really get like a straight answer, so like there's hints that she's not being honest about who she is.
Exactly. Yeah. So, which is interesting.
Like, they ask her, "Have you ever been arrested before?" She says no, when we know for a fact she has, because we see it happen at one point in the movie. When she goes to that one strip club at the beginning, she does get arrested.
Yeah, and then that's how she meets James, and then James is the one who like bails her out. So, yeah. it's just I can kind of see what the movie's going for then, but at the same time, it does also feel like it, like you've been saying, it is just what it's presenting.
Yeah,
like
it feels like it's all surface level. Which, to be fair, for Vegas is completely correct.
Yeah, so maybe
nothing
that's
in the movie is wrong. Like, it's all correct.
Exactly, and that's why I don't think it's as bad as people say it is. Like, people call this like one of the worst things ever, and it did.
Like, I'm gonna be honest. Like, I feel like a lot of that negative assumption at the time, I think it's just because they were prudes.
Yeah, I can totally see that.
It was probably just because, like, tits everywhere, get it away, ill.
Yeah.
Conservative values of the 90s, you know.
Yeah, exactly. I can totally buy that. Whereas, like, I mean, you look at it from our perspective now, it's like, yeah, like, this isn't anything we haven't seen before. I think it's, for the stuff I've seen, I think it's pretty standard, honestly. I mean, it is up there, don't get me wrong, but like, it's not like
tit puddle.
Not yet, Minion, not yet. One day Faust will have its day.
You should do the episode about both Faust and Little Italy.
Ooh. Oh, that's in the future. We're talking about Showgirls, William. Stop giving me ideas.
There's probably an Italy in Vegas somewhere.
Oh my god, yeah. Well, there's the Leaning Tower of Pisa, right?
Nomi's Italian, apparently. We think. Maybe she lied.
Well, I mean, her name is Nomi, and one of her big lines throughout the movie is whenever she's talking to James, she's like, "You don't know me." So I'm pretty sure that was intentional. You know, like. But also, I mean, because, like, Nomi, is that even a real name?
Oh, fucking no, probably not.
I don't know, but it's just fun to say.
It sounds like a stripper name, to be honest.
Nomi Malone, yeah.
Which is correct.
Yeah, again, the movie we're dealing with here, correct.
Okay, so, like, general plot, she arrives in Vegas after hitchhiking. What was the reason she went to that casino again?
Cause Jeff's uncle owns it.
Right, so I guess he tells her to go there.
Yeah,
and then he makes off with the car and steals a suitcase, so she's just stranded there.
She's just stranded.
One thing I can give the movie credit for is that we actually do get like a legitimate flow of time to how long the movie is taking place. Because like when she goes to that diner first with Molly, because she meets Molly by banging on her truck because she's having a meltdown.
Yeah.
And we go to the diner and we see kids in Halloween costumes doing the trick-or-treat songs. Like, okay, we know it's Halloween when this is taking place now. And later on, the offices, after she's doing her thing for a while, we see Christmas trees and decorations up.
Yeah, that's clever details. Like, I didn't even notice the Halloween, but I did notice the Christmas decorations. So, like, technically this movie's a Christmas movie. Hey, look at that. But yeah, no, like that is
Do
very
your double
clever.
feature, Gremlins and Showgirls.
Perfect. Yeah, well, I mean, to go back to like, yeah, how she first meets Molly, like she's having a mental breakdown on her car, and Molly's just like, "Hey, what's up? Let me take you out
That's
to
my
dinner.
car.
That's my car. Let me take you out to dinner. Let's be friends for 6 weeks." Like,
I mean, I guess, like, like, okay, this girl probably just showed up in town now and she's already fucked because of Vegas.
right.
I'll have some mercy on you. Okay, yeah, you have literally nowhere to go. I'll help.
Yeah, sure. I mean, that's fine and all, but it's like, how many other people have done this? Like, like it just seems kind of weird that like Nomi is the one she picks out. Like, I highly doubt, like, considering Vegas, people all the time are getting screwed out of all their money. I don't know.
True, but it's not every day someone bangs on your truck specifically.
Yeah, but I don't know. It just seems very.
It's a movie.
It is. Yeah, no. It is totally for the plot. I get it. I'm just being a nitpicky asshole. But, again, if she didn't, like, there would be no movie. Like, Nomi would just move on. And it's like, okay, there was no point to this then.
She'd be in a gutter somewhere if needles stuck up her arms.
Yeah, exactly.
There's probably other characters in this movie who deserve to have needles stuck up their arms in an alley.
All of them.
The celebrity dude.
Yeah, the celebrity dude.
Which, like, to be fair, they don't really build him up that much either, because like we see the poster in like their home the whole time, yes, and like they mention him a couple times. You'd think they would have played him up more like in the background to hype up him coming, and then it'd be more surprising when when it turns out him and his crew are complete creep assholes.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's the classic never meet your heroes thing, but like it does feel kind of last minute in that sense. Like, I mean, granted, I'm sure that was the plan the whole time. Like, that's why they had the scenes of her being like, "Oh, I'm so excited to see Andrew Carver." It's just like, It's like,
I will say, like, there's like a hint because like I'm looking at like the write up on here. It does say like, new production approved color remaster and featuring a consummate selection of interviews and archival materials, which at least tells the crazy story of its production. So I'm assuming that there was probably some behind the scenes issues going on with this movie.
I mean, I can totally buy that 100% after seeing the final
Remember,
product.
everybody, making movies kind of sucks.
Yeah, and especially making Showgirls. Like, oh, imagine being Elizabeth Berkley and you go...
Imagine being half the women in this movie and just not being able to wear clothing for like 12 hours a day.
Exactly. Especially Elizabeth Berkley, who's like, was known for like Saved by the Bell at the time. Like, a very like kind of mainstream show, and then she's in Showgirls where she's just completely naked, like no, like not even just like at least with Kyle MacLachlan they just show him from behind with his ass, like they don't even show his dick, but like, with her they show everything. It's like, Jesus.
We saw the Bully Maguire guy come
twice at least,
and only one of those times was when he was actually having sex.
I know, the first lap dance I forgot about the first lap dance, but like watching it this time, I'm like, Jesus Christ, this is insanity.
I mean, it's a real lap dance.
It is a real lap dance.
Like, you're doing a movie in Vegas at a strip club, you're doing a lap dance, yeah?
Do you think they teach that in the lap dance tutorial?
Maybe, like, because, okay, not for nothing, the choreography in the movie, it's very well done.
Oh, incredibly so. Yeah, that's the thing. The set design in this movie and the costuming, it's fantastic. Like
the actual shows they do, like the volcano one, the one with the motorcycles, like, they look great. Like, those look like actual shows you would see in Vegas. Production value is there. Yeah. Like, dude, I'd watch a fucking motorcycle strip show. Maybe.
Me too. Maybe. Yeah, no, I agree. There's so much there's so much spectacle and to this movie that like, it looks great, and it especially looks great because it's the 4K transfer. Again, though, like,
I just want you to know we both just admitted that we would go to strip shows if they had motorcycles and dinosaurs.
Yeah. Wink, wink, hint, hint.
There is now audio of us saying this on the internet. Oops. Continue.
Continue. Oh, should I?
Well, you can try to continue. I think Bully Maguire is finished, though.
Oh. But that's the thing with this movie is like it's trying to deal with a very serious story, but also it is very funny. Mostly
Do you want to
unintentionally.
read some of those lines a while?
Yeah, I don't even remember what I said. They're like so
the
far
first
up in
one
the
you
chat.
called was the different places.
Well,
when
that's
she's like saying where she's from.
That's like the classic line of the movie is like, you know, her just being like different places. Like that is classic.
There's the scene in like when the first strip club where like after she kicks James in the balls, there's like the one guy goes, "You be cool, buddy."
Yeah, you be cool, buddy.
Buddy.
Yeah.
Man, everybody got A's and shit.
Yeah, that's because that's what he like talks to her about, like her lap dance to Bully McGuire, and he's just like, man, everybody got AIDS and shit. You're just like, what the fuck?
See ya, Pollyanna.
Yeah.
There's like the scene where like she's doing the first dance with James, and he's like trying to feel her up, and she says like, "It's my period."
Yeah, and he's like, it's all right,
And
I got towels.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks for the hamburger. That's right. She's only eating like hamburgers and chips and just like this junk food, and she still looks that thin. It's like, god damn it. This is such a movie.
He's got a problem with pussy.
He does. Oh yeah, and then it's like Versace. She said, what does she say? Versace.
I don't remember. Finest cocaine in the world, darling. You want some? She dances like a truck.
Yeah, give me a beer,
Yeah,
bitch.
give me a bitch. Bitch. Like the most pathetic bitch you've ever heard.
Yeah. Well, that ties into just James as a character. I just find him fascinatingly weak. How like
I like your songs. Thanks. I like your ass. Call me.
Yeah, no, but like he's just because like you get the feeling that he's supposed to be like real, quote unquote, in this fake town. Because like, you know, I mean, like we were saying earlier with like the poster being in the DVD being in like the Blu-ray box, how it says like A Private Dance by James Smith, like that's his show. And like, you know, he tries to amp himself up as like this artist, like, you know, oh, Nomi, I'm not interested in you for sex, I'm interested in you for my art, but also sex. It's just like, okay, you're just as fake as everybody else.
Yeah, and like the whole reason like they're stopping the show afterwards, well, one, because people didn't like it apparently, but the main reason is because the girl that he was with, he knocked her up, so now like they're not gonna be able to do it soon anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
So now they have to like leave that line of work entirely now because they're gonna be parents.
Right.
It's like, I'm just gonna get a job at a grocery store.
Yeah, exactly. It's just I get what they're going for, but again, I don't buy any of it. Is the thing.
Yeah.
So.
Well, to be fair, you don't buy anything in Vegas anyway. You gamble.
That's true. We do what we always do in Vegas. We gamble. Oh, lordy.
It's like, again, like all the depictions here. No, yeah, this is correct. It's Vegas.
Exactly.
This is correct.
Yeah, no, it's unapologetically sleazy. That is the best way to describe Showgirls. Is just unapologetic in its sleaziness. Like,
and like maybe we're missing something here under the layers, but like it really just feels like it's all surface, that the movie isn't really saying anything. It's just an experience.
Yeah. Well,
and
I mean,
there's nothing inherently wrong with just that. It's just that you're not going to get anything deeper out of it.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I don't hate it. Like I'm getting
really hate.
Yeah, it's very true. But like, you know,
hate here.
I mean, there's people who would claim this as like the surprise secret hit, like the secret like smart movie, and it's like I don't get that from this movie, like at all.
Maybe in like the commentary tracks, people like point out what we're missing, or like in that essay booklet. So I haven't really dug into that much yet.
Sure.
Like if I ever watch this again, I would watch it with the commentary track to see what I missed and like look up the bonus features. I'm sure the lap dance tutorial will be very enlightening.
Yeah, exactly. So again,
like, can we talk, like you were saying, like people saying like this big secret thing, like go on to Tubi, go into the art house section. Showgirls is on there.
Yeah. So
I don't know which cut of the movie. I can't imagine it's the NC-17 version.
No.
Maybe, I don't know.
And
but
I can't
like,
imagine it's the R-rated version either. Like, for sure. Like, yeah, no. again, it's unapologetically sleazy.
Is there a PG version of Showgirls?
It would be like 1 second long.
What's the G-rated cut of Showgirls?
It's a black hole of nothingness.
Oh, so her vagina.
Oh,
who would want to see her snatch anyway? I certainly wouldn't.
Yeah. Well, I've already seen it because I've seen Showgirls twice now. So
I like the mama character. She's like the one at the one strip club who's like the big girl.
Yeah, the big.
And like everyone loves her because she's funny, and she has
Yeah.
like that fake top that like blows open.
Yeah, and she just is always like cracking jokes. It's awesome. Like she's
a fun character. She's only
a
like
fun
2
character.
scenes though.
Yeah, like 2, maybe 3 scenes if you want to be technical. She's not. Yeah, she doesn't show up that often. That's the thing with this movie is like you have characters show up, but like not very often. Like
Yeah, they just like James will just be out of the movie for like a good half hour sometimes.
I think so. And because this movie's 2 hours long, like you definitely notice. So that's just it's just such an anomaly, this movie. There's
They're
just
like, what are you here for? I'm here to watch you be a prick.
yeah.
Which is honestly, that's why you're watching the movie.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the thesis statement.
Yeah, it's the thesis statement. More or less. Oh, please. What else is there even to talk about? Like, it's Showgirls. It's Showgirls, for crying out loud.
Like, is this one of the worst movies ever? No, it's
No.
not. It just
No.
is a movie. Like, I gave it 3 stars because, like, I don't really feel like doing anything all that wrong. It's not doing anything amazing either. It just kind of is.
Yeah.
It's like, it kills 2 hours.
Yeah. Honestly.
There's tits in it if you like tits.
I do. So.
We have the internet now, so you don't need that, but, like, it's there.
Yeah, at least you get, like, a narrative with it, at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
The actors are doing a mostly good job.
Yeah, you know what? Even though I don't think Elizabeth Berkley is a very good actress, she's not. I think Nomi Malone has, like, very much Hayden Christensen syndrome where, like, but, like, I get the feeling that, like, she's trying, as I do with Hayden Christensen. I feel like they're trying. They're just not given a whole lot to deal with. So, like, the performance isn't that great. But
In the lines. Give me a beer, bitch.
Give me a beer, bitch. Yeah. So, yeah, no, I agree. People are trying. I there's effort put into this movie. So
yeah,
that's
like,
why
and you can see that, like, again, like, the choreography and the set design.
yeah, the choreography choreographed by the character of Gay.
When they first said her name, I thought that was just me mishearing her. Like, oh, her name is a K, or like the guy saying, okay, time to start up the choreography.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I thought it was. And he said, no, her name's just Gay.
Her name's just Gay.
Cool. Based.
That's the thing with this movie. It's just the gift that keeps on giving because you realize little things upon rewatch, for sure.
It's like, I can just imagine that they should have had a scene where she introduces herself so that every June we just go on Twitter and we see the introduction of, hi, I'm Gay.
Yeah. Ooh, that would have been
That would have been so good.
So good. Missed opportunity, Paul. You couldn't foresee the meme culture we have nowadays, could you?
So like the writer of this movie, like, who wrote RoboCop?
Good question. Who did write?
Because like we're talking about like Stuart Gordon and like his stuff, but like the writer would also matter immensely for that.
Yeah. So the guys who wrote RoboCop did not write Showgirls.
Obviously,
one of the guys wrote Starship Troopers and its subsequent sequels,
which that's satirical.
Yeah, and then the other guy, he wrote RoboCop and then also Anaconda's The Hunt for the Blood Orchid.
Joe Vacano, who did like the photography of the movie, also did Starship Troopers.
Right. Okay. So it's people.
So there's multiple Starship Troopers alums in this movie, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Exactly. Whereas I feel like Paul definitely works better, I guess, in like I would assume the sci-fi social satire.
Yeah. Was this a director for hire gig? Is what I'm saying.
Probably, because again, when you think Paul Verhoeven, you think RoboCop, you think Total Recall, you think Starship Troopers.
Like even going like and. No, I got lost confused with people again. Never mind.
Okay, well, but like I don't know, those are like his most famous stuff. Again, I have not seen Total Recall or Starship Troopers, so I can't really say. I have seen RoboCop. Like, that's why I keep going back to RoboCop, because that's the movie I'm most familiar with from his filmography. I mean, RoboCop and Showgirls, like those are the movies I'm most familiar with him directing.
How do you feel knowing that I actually still haven't watched RoboCop, so this is the only Paul Verhoeven movie I've seen?
So this is your... You know what? Just leave it at that. That would be the funniest thing, is if you just left it at that.
Well, I want to get the Arrow 4K of RoboCop at some point.
I do too. I own the trilogy on like a crappy DVD because it's...
I have a shitty DVD I got at like a grocery store ages ago.
Yeah. Oh god, I can't wait to do the RoboCop episode. I seriously need to, because that is a DVD I need to do an episode on. But
just do an episode on the donut scene from the third movie.
I want to. That's the reason why I want to do it, is because I want to talk about the donut scene. I want to gush about the donut shop scene, but I can't. I don't want to spoil it. I want to save that for its own episode. So, as for this episode, what else do we have to say about Showgirls? Anything?
I mean, there's probably something you think of while we're talking about the other movie that'll be relevant.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I guess we can get into that now. And the next movie is one that we were supposed to talk about ages ago on my channel, but then I never edited the video together.
Yeah.
You probably see in the thumbnail, keeping in the theme of the triple X theming here, Fritz the Cat.
Fritz the Cat. Yeah, let's just get into Fritz the Cat. I think we've said enough about Showgirls. I think we both agree we're going to keep this 4K because we're kind of stuck with it now.
I mean, like, there's so much in here. Like, I wouldn't want to get rid of that.
No, of course.
It looks great next to my copies of Six String Samurai and New York Ninja.
Yeah, I agree. But yeah, Fritz the Cat. Yes, as you said a while ago, we wanted to talk about Fritz the Cat on something that we were going to do together.
And then I just never edited it because I'm lazy.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because the other we were going to do with that is Labyrinth. And, well, we already talked about Labyrinth.
Well, that's the entire reason why we did that episode in the first place.
Yeah, that's why I brought you on. But it's funny because when we talked about Labyrinth, I talked about how, like, I have that interesting Blu-ray double feature with Dark Crystal, how it, like, looks like a VHS case. The reason I have that is because I wanted to own Labyrinth around the time we were talking about it, and that's what I got. And now we're talking about Fritz the Cat on this Blu-ray from Kino Lorber. Again, I got this because of our discussion on Fritz the Cat that never came to fruition. So,
and you got Showgirls for this, so both of these are my fault.
All three of those things are your fault. But
well, okay, you would have bought Labyrinth and Dark Crystal anyway.
Exactly. No, and you know
that was a foregone conclusion.
No, and I would have bought Fritz the Cat without doing this thing. Like, I would have bought it on my own fruition as well. I would not have bought Showgirls by myself, but hey, I'm stuck with it now, so.
But yeah, like when we said we were going to do Showgirls, I thought, okay, we do need to pair this with a second movie. What would make sense to pair this with? Because knowing Showgirls, okay, this is raunchy and sleazy. We need something equally raunchy and sleazy. Hey, Fritz the Cat.
Hey, Fritz the Cat. Yeah, no, I think this was the best choice that we could have.
Is this the first Bakshi movie on the podcast?
Yes, it is actually. Yeah, because I have not talked about Wizards yet, and
we'll get there eventually.
Oh, we'll get there. Yeah, definitely. We'll get to when they killed Fritz.
I'm glad you changed your name, you son of a bitch.
It's such a good movie. But we're talking about Fritz, where they did not kill Fritz, even though he blew up at the end.
It's okay. Robert Crumb killed Fritz after the movie.
Yeah, he did. Did he?
After the movie, Robert Crumb famously did not like the movie at all, and in a fit of rage, he drew the final Fritz the Cat comic ever after it, where Fritz just fucking dies.
That's funny.
And that's the end of the comic strip.
That's so funny.
Which I'm pretty sure that's why they killed Fritz line comes from. Like, he literally killed Fritz.
Right. Yeah, so it's like a Stephen King Shining situation.
There's also the fact that the movie has a sequel, The 9 Lives of Fritz the Cat, where like the plot is, well, it's the 9 lives. Yeah. So Fritz also dies a lot in that.
Yeah, Fritz dies a lot in that. Yeah. Yeah, Fritz the Cat. William, start things off. What did you think of Fritz the Cat?
Well, I mean, we can also get into like the background too, because like I think this is the movie that people are being more familiar with here.
Yeah,
especially like animation wise, because this movie's reputation precedes it.
Yes, the very first X-rated cartoon.
Yeah. The first X-rated animated film, which I guess we can talk about what is the X rating, because it does not exist anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So, back when the MPAA was first founded in 1968, good God, this movie is only like 2 or 3 years older than the MPAA. When the MPAA first got made, it was like they had the set of ratings. It was the G rating, PG, and R, and then they had the X rating for the adult things.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, anything like super adult was hit with the X rating, and would normally not be shown in a traditional theater because most of it was going to be porn.
Yeah.
Or, like, super ultra violent.
Right.
Which, we say super ultra violent. Nowadays, things that get an R rating would totally get an X rating back then.
Yeah. They probably
because they were just prudes back then.
Yeah, they were
like,
super prudes.
We'll talk about that again during the Friday the 13th episode, because good God, it's noticeable at times when the MPA went ham on them.
Right.
Like, the 7th movie especially, like, people talk about that's the one that had it the worst with the MPAA cuts.
That's so funny.
But yeah, like, so anything that was super big and raunchy got that. Fritz the Cat was famously the first X-rated animated film, and the reason you don't see X rating anymore, for whatever reason, all the MPAA ratings have copyrights on them. For the reasons of that, you have to actually go through the MPAA to get them. Except the X rating, for some reason, was never copyrighted. So what ended up happening is, after the success of Fritz the Cat, we'll get into that later, but Fritz the Cat was a success. A lot of other copycats and other movies wanted in on it. But they didn't actually want to have to go through the effort of having to submit the movie to the MPAA, because I'm pretty sure that costs money to do or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So what they eventually ended up actually doing, since it wasn't copyrighted, they would just lie. They would just say it's X-rated without actually getting an X rating, and they would use that X as a marketing strategy. Like, they were marketing, like, the movie the man doesn't want you to see. Mother Goose fucks, X-rated. Down and Dirty Duck, X-rated.
Yeah, which is funny because maybe the man doesn't even know it exists.
Because you didn't actually submit it to the MPAA.
Yeah, so the man has no idea.
You just lied.
Yeah.
So eventually, because of that, the MPAA retired the X rating and made the new official rating NC-17, which is copyrighted.
Right.
It's just a new X rating. And you still never really see it because, again, no theater is going to actually show it. Right. The only major movie in recent times that we know even got it was Blonde on Netflix. And there it doesn't even matter because it's on Netflix.
Right. You're watching it in the privacy of your own home. So, like...
Yeah. And even now, like, what movies typically do nowadays instead of that is, if they know that a movie is going to get hit with an NC-17, what they'll do is they'll put a pin in that version of the movie, make an R-rated cut to release in theaters, and then when the Blu-ray and digital version comes out, put both of them on the same disc and just have the one be the unrated cut.
Right.
And that's usually going to be the version you watch anyway at that point going forward.
Exactly, because, like, why would you want to watch a movie that's limited?
Why would you watch the censored version?
Right, you're not getting the full experience then.
Unless, like, the unrated version has, like, serious pacing issues or something that made the other cut better, but that's rare.
Very rare. Yeah.
Because usually it's just they're gonna censor out some gore or something or whatever.
Right, aren't movies magical?
Fun fact, we're recording this on July 13th. Today is the day that SAG announced they're also going on strike along with the WGA.
Yeah.
Movies are fun. How about that Bob Iger quote?
A Bob Iger quote.
Oh, the demands are unreasonable. Why are they unreasonable? I can't tell you that.
Yeah.
I wonder why, Bob. I wonder why.
Dude, just trust me.
This is why I will always shit-talk Disney whenever possible, and why I want my Letterboxd followers to watch other things and click on the other reviews. I am doing this to recommend these to you and writing these reviews. Fucking click on them. I'm going to watch Princess Kaguya and give it a 1-star rating just to fuck with you guys to get you to watch other things. I doubt it's even going to be... I'm sure it's going to be amazing, but I'm going to do it anyway because fuck you guys. Watch other things.
Exactly. No... Preach, brother, preach. I am so 100%
Yeah, watch other things like Fritz the Cat and Showgirls.
Yeah. No.
Okay, so Fritz the Cat, Ralph Bakshi.
Ralph Bakshi. Yeah.
You know more about Bakshi than I do, probably. You talk about him for a little bit.
Vaguely enough. I know that, like, yes, he's a guy who's very famous for, kind of being a trailblazer for adult animated films, being like, cartoons don't necessarily need to just be for children. Like, they can be for...
Which they weren't originally.
Right, exactly.
Looney Tunes were made for adults. They were shown in front of like Casablanca and shit.
Yeah, I just found out that the Dover Boys was like a cartoon that played before Casablanca, because like on the Casablanca 4K, apparently the Dover Boys is included in that. Like, that's really cool. So yeah, like, it's just the association with cartoons, because mostly children enjoy them, I suppose. Like, there's that association with cartoons equaling for children, but it's like, no.
Well, that happened entirely because, one, Disney, and two, when the jump to TV happened with Hanna-Barbera, everything was more censored and strict with the guidelines.
Exactly.
They were using it to advertise product, and it was the jump to TV that solidified that, Saturday mornings and everything.
Right, exactly.
That was when cartoons were being marketed explicitly to kids.
Right. So Bakshi is definitely, one of the OG guys who's just like, no, like, it can be for not even just for anybody, like, mainly it can be for adults mainly. And so, like, that's why, like, some of it, like, a lot of his movies are so raunchy, so much so that, like, the movie he advertised as his quote unquote family adventure was Wizards.
And that movie, there is, that's the one where, like, there's blood everywhere, and, like, the main villain's plan is to show literally, actually just show old archival footage of World War. They show fucking Triumph of the Will.
Yeah.
That's the villain's plan. They show them that to their army to hype them up and make them super strong. Literally just turn them into fantasy future Nazis.
Fantasy future Nazis. There's fucking fairy prostitutes in the movie. Like,
yeah, what was her, Eleanor?
Eleanor.
Just look at her. Just Google Eleanor Wizards.
Yeah, and you'll know exactly what we're talking about.
Why don't you just sit there for a couple minutes, a couple hours, while I rest? Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic moment.
A family picture. So yeah, basically,
I'm glad you changed your name, you son of a bitch.
Yeah. Rated PG.
First speaking role for Mark Hamill in a movie.
That's
Came
true.
out before Star Wars.
Well, that's why I found out about Wizards, was because it was the very first Mark Hamill movie before Star Wars. But yeah.
And he just has a bit part.
He just has a bit part. Yeah. I was very shocked when I found out about that. But I didn't find out about that until I was watching the fucking movie.
I mean, also, okay, his Wizards is a family, but, like, if anything that's more fan appropriate, probably, like, his animated Hobbit's probably the most family oriented thing he's done.
Probably.
Because he did the Hobbit in, like, 2 Lord of the Rings movies, right?
He at least did the Lord of the Rings. I don't know about the Hobbit. I'll have to get back to you.
I'm pretty sure he did the Hobbit too.
Maybe. I would not. I'm not denying that. I'm not neither confirming nor denying that. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, in a nutshell, Ralph Bakshi, super raunchy guy. He loves his raunch. He loves his edginess. He made Fritz the Cat, the very first X-rated animated film, and like, you definitely
the thing with
get that.
Because, and the thing with it is, like, you very much cannot talk about this movie without the context of the time it was made.
It was made in the early 70s, and it's supposed to be a movie about the 60s. So yes.
Like, it's like the tail end of the 60s.
Yes.
Which, if you know about anything about history of the 60s, the 60s, especially towards the end, there was extremely turbulent. That was like the big part. That was the civil rights movement.
Yep.
The free love movement, everything. MLK, JFK's death.
Vietnam is just starting.
Yeah, Vietnam's starting.
Like, there's a bunch of shit going on in the late 60s.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't just Jungle Book. It was like a lot of things are happening at the time. So
yeah.
It was a very turbulent time. So, of course...
And, like, all this stuff that he was doing, like, was never seen in animated film before at all. Like, nowadays, this is, like, done all the time, so it's not special at all. But when it was released, this was, for better or for worse, groundbreaking. And you cannot talk about this movie honestly without the context of when it was made, because you are doing it a disservice otherwise.
Yeah. Well, it's funny that you say that, like, yeah, like, nowadays it's not surprising to see a cartoon character say the fuck word, but...
And I have a point to make about that later.
Right. Yeah. But I still feel like, even though this movie was the first of its kind, I still think it's very special in that regard. Because, like, even though we do see this constantly of cartoons swearing and making sex jokes and stuff like that, and being, politically and socially aware, I still feel like this one is a lot more special because, and not even just because it was the first, but because it does so in a unique and interesting way. Whereas I feel like, just because a movie or show does it now does not automatically mean that it is going to get the same effect as Fritz the Cat, like you said, for better or for worse, because I'm not saying Fritz the Cat does it exceptionally well. But that's also why I sort of kind of like it, is because it's so faulty in what it's trying to do.
Yeah, and because that was, like, at the time when it was made, like, just doing this at all, like, that soon after these things happened must have been, like, revolutionary. Because no one was talking about these things in an animated film at all back then. And that's, like, the wild, bad thing with the wild, crazy thing with the movie, is that at the point when this was made, this was extremely progressive.
Mm-hmm.
Nowadays, it comes off tone deaf and kind of racist at times.
Yeah, that's where you really start to see Bakshi as, like, okay, I know what he's trying to do, but at the end of the day,
at the time it came out,
yeah,
and that's what I'm also getting at with, like, you do need to look at this in the context it was made, because otherwise it has not aged well in a lot of ways.
Exactly. No, it is, like, when we say it's raunchy, it is raunchy, like, unapologetically. Just like how Showgirls is unapologetically sleazy, this is unapologetically raunchy. And again, like you said, for better or for worse, like, it's yes, definitely. I mean, well, for one, there's a bunch of characters who are supposed to represent the African American minority.
And they're depicted as crows.
They're depicted as crows. Now,
which nowadays, that is viewed as the same level of, like, depicting them as gorillas or apes, monkeys, which is horribly racist to do.
Exactly.
But back then, I'm pretty sure, like, the intent was that it was, like, going after Disney, because Disney did that back then. Because the entire reason they did it for Disney was, like, it was like a Jim Crow thing, right?
It was a Jim Crow pun when they did it in Dumbo.
So they did it because that's what Disney did, but he was like, here's how people actually act. Yeah. And, like, we're trying to, like, do something with it.
And I think that's, like, the point. I truly believe that Ralph is doing it to make a point. Like, he's being funny, because, like, they genuinely
did like actual black actors back then, which, like, that's again, that's soon after the effect. I don't think that happened very often.
Right.
I don't think so. I don't know the actual truth of that. We cannot speak with authority on this at all for the most part.
Exactly.
But, like, I feel like that just didn't happen that often back then.
No.
So, like, back then that must have been great to see. Of course, nowadays that's like that would just be like brownie points, if anything. That's all it would be.
Exactly.
It wouldn't mean anything today, but, like, back then, yes.
Yeah. No,
I'm pretty sure, like, at least, like, half the cast is probably black, if anything, because, like, at least as far as I can tell. And, like, the cool thing they did was also, like, you can tell that, like, when they're in, like, the bar or other things, like, it feels like he just, like, ask people, hey, can we record this conversation and put it in a movie? Because, like, they feel like actual conversations people would be having.
Well, that's the thing about this movie, is that, like, there's several scenes where it just sounds like conversations. Where like, Ralph or somebody on the film team, like, went to, like, some bar or to some place in New York City and just recorded a conversation happening between two random people. Like,
yeah.
And then they just animated them to be animals having those conversations.
And, like, that's the thing, like, Disney, the crows there were very obviously caricatures.
Yes.
Whereas in this movie, these are real people, because they're having real conversations.
Right.
And that's even prefaced, like, in the beginning, because, like, in the very beginning of the movie, it opens where, like, these construction workers on a high beam doing their job, and you just hear, like, this guy talking about his daughter going to college and shit, and it's like, you can tell that's just an actual conversation that was being had, that was recorded somewhere. Yes. Also, then a guy takes a piss, whatever.
And then a guy takes a piss after eating a fish sandwich, yes. Yeah, exactly. Like, it's mixing real life with, like, severely cartoony stuff. Like
why are the characters animals? Because Disney.
Because Disney.
And like the most take that Disney thing in the movie is like when the big riot happens midway through the movie. I guess like 2/3 of the way through the movie, if anything of that actually. When that big riot happens, like we actually like there's a shot where like the planes are coming and you just see like in shadow was very clearly Mickey, Donald, and I think Daisy cheering them on to basically say like Disney is like the old way of thinking that they don't want change progress to happen.
Yeah, because you see like the United States Air Force planes like flying into Manhattan and dropping bombs in Harlem. Like, yeah, that's yes, exactly. That is totally a dig at Disney for sure. And that's the thing with this movie is like you were saying, like he's portraying these characters as crows, and it's like, yeah, that's horribly racist. I don't buy that Ralph was doing it to be racist. I think he was making a point.
Because that was what was being done at the time. It was a take that to Disney, if anything.
Exactly. But no matter the intention, he's still doing it.
It's still racist today.
Yes.
Because regardless of intent, it still is.
It still is, exactly. I completely 100% agree.
We're both white. We do not get to decide what is and is not racist because we're not the ones who are being targeted.
Right, exactly. Well, that's the other thing is like, okay, if all the characters who are crows in the Fritz the Cat world are supposed to be black people, what's with
everybody else?
What race is everybody else?
And that's like the point of it's a Disney thing because everyone's animals because Disney. But then that also like confuses the racial commentary because it's like there's so many different species here. Like, what is an aardvark?
What is an aardvark?
What is a cat?
What is a cat?
What is a pig? What is a lion? What is a dog?
Yeah, because you have like the scene in the synagogue where they're all lions because they're all supposed to be Jewish. But then
and, like we also don't even understand like the commentary there. Like Bakshi's Jewish, correct?
Bakshi's Jewish.
So like, what is the point of making all of them? Is that like a thing like, oh, they're lions because lions are strong? Fuck Nazis. Is that it? Is it just Ralph likes lions? Was there like an actual thing back then with depicting them as lions? I don't know.
Were lions easier to draw than any other animal? Like, yeah, like it's a little confused. Because then also you have the pig characters. Obviously, all the cop characters are pigs. It's like that makes sense.
Because that makes sense. But then it's like, is everyone who's born a pig supposed to be a cop?
Yeah, and then
is it their destiny to become a cop? Oh, hey, Ma. When he's in the synagogue, oh, hey, Ma, hey, Uncle. Like, your uncle's a lion?
Your uncle's a lion? Your mom's
a lion?
Yeah, again, because the cop is Jewish. So it's like, okay, but he's not a lion. So what is going on here? Like, or is
there's multiple rabbits. There's a horse that I thought was a hippo at first.
Yeah, there's the rabbit who's a Nazi. Like, okay, like, how does that tie into the lions being Jewish? Like, again, we're only questioning this because they made it a point to say that, hey, all the black characters are crows. So like,
yeah,
that's why we're like questioning this. So it's just, again, like, I guess maybe for like, it's just that because that's what the scene called for and that's what he wants to say in the moment, but maybe not with every scene does that apply. But then you just kind of have to wonder, okay...
It gets confused.
Exactly. Like, it's like how... I'm going to bring up Jess and her review of Elemental. How, like, she said, hey, I thought metaphors were supposed to clear things up in the movie. Whereas, like, I feel like the metaphor here is just kind of muddying things a little,
And, like, again, like, to go in the context, back then, just saying anything at all was a big statement. But
That's
nowadays, it's like, well, everyone said everything, so, like, now it doesn't hold up.
It doesn't hold up. You're just like, okay, you've said this. Well, okay, well, Fritz the Cat said this 40 years ago. So what?
But that's also the thing, they were just saying things at all.
Right.
That's all it was.
Right.
Back then, impressive. Today, it doesn't mean a goddamn thing.
And that's why I view Fritz the Cat as more of a time capsule, if anything. Yes. Like, that's why I like Fritz the Cat. You can't
speak about it in any other way otherwise.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I will always say, like, you need to judge the movies on the grounds of when they first came out.
Sure.
You can't look at Snow White with the same standards as you would view Tangled. Because there's, like... like
Very
what,
true.
60, 70 years between the two of them. The standards have changed.
The standards
For
have
Snow White,
changed.
it was just a technical marvel that was able to be done at all.
Mhm.
Of course, the story is going to be paper thin because the fact that they were able to do the movie at all was just impressive.
Right, exactly.
Whereas nowadays, with all the technology and teams we have for this, Disney's a huge company. Of course, Tangled is going to be what it is.
Right, exactly.
It's unfair to Snow White to judge it the way you judge Tangled.
Right, yeah.
It is unfair to judge the original King Kong on the same level that you would judge, I don't fucking know, Doctor Strange.
Or you know, Kong Skull Island or
like
King
any
Kong 2005.
kind of like big CG movie.
Yeah.
Because like those techniques literally did not exist. Like there's a point with the original King Kong that like movie scores were not really a big thing until that movie.
Right. Yeah. No, that's. I mean, yeah, no, you're absolutely right. There has to be context given in order for you to understand why a movie is the way that it is, and
like the understand like the making of the movie, the production, to understand why that movie is the way it is. Yeah,
right, exactly. And also the thing with this movie is like it is also pretty choppy in its style, but again, that's
intentional.
That's just Bakshi being Bakshi. Like that is,
and like that's New York. That's like that New York sketchy style that you'd see in like a bar or something.
That is also New York. Have you guys been to New York? It is that is exactly what it's like. It's a fucking mess down there.
Look at like the that TMNT movie coming out later this year. Like that's all oil painting style with the backgrounds, and like it's the same kind of thing, just without the paint.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So like it's spot on in that regard.
Right. Yeah. And it adds to the style. So like that's why as I was just saying, I view Fritz the Cat as like this time capsule, but it's a fascinating time capsule. Like I am fascinated by this movie. I think it does so much. Like it's just throwing so much at the wall and clearly not everything sticks.
Hoping something sticks.
Most
of what sticks is cum. And like we will get into the plot, but like since we're talking about everything else about the movie, again, this was a big groundbreaking thing at the time, just like showing all this, like having nudity in an animated film and acknowledging sex at this point, because like acknowledging that like the 70s was really like the time when that was really becoming a thing that you could talk about in media,
right?
Like famously, like even in animation, but just TV as a whole, the Flintstones was controversial when it first came out. Specifically because they depicted Fred and Wilma actually sharing a bed, which didn't happen on TV yet at that point.
That's crazy.
Like the Flintstones of all things was controversial because the loving wife and husband actually shared a bed.
Oh, I can't comprehend it.
You couldn't show that on TV at the time, even though that's what happens in real life.
Yeah, that's what happens in real life. Like,
But you couldn't show that on TV, apparently, until the Flintstones, of all things.
Oh,
so, like,
brother.
Just like an animated film involving willing to talk about this was groundbreaking.
Yes.
The thing is, like, Fritz the Cat was groundbreaking at the time of it came out, and it set a precedent for animated films being able to do this, but for adult animation going forward.
Right.
The point I wanted to make, though, that I mentioned earlier, though, is that unfortunately, for worse I was getting at was that adult animation, at least in America on mainstream, hasn't evolved past Fritz the Cat yet.
Yeah.
You look at Family Guy, you look at like other raunchy adult animated cartoons and stuff, and like they have not evolved past doing what Fritz did, unfortunately.
Yeah.
It's still just, we're gonna say fuck, we're gonna have sex, it's gonna be crude, and that's all. Mainstream adult animation in America has not evolved past this.
Yeah, they're just gonna be one seasons on Netflix. It's just some crappy animated, well, I say one season when fucking Big Mouth exists, but that is the stereotype, unfortunately.
And Fritz started it, and like
Fritz did start it. Yeah, it is.
And that's
a shame.
the other thing. Like, if Fritz the Cat was brand new today, I would probably hate it for the exact same reasons.
I would too. Yeah, no, you're 100% right. It would just be the worst.
Because it isn't doing anything differently from them, and that's not a fault of the movie. That's a fault of America.
Though that's the fault of that again. Like, it's the same argument with the MCU. I don't blame Marvel for the state of cinema right now. I blame studio heads being gigantic morons thinking they can copy what Marvel did. Like,
unfortunately, Marvel's also not doing great right now either, though.
no, Marvel's not doing great either. But again, like, I don't blame the original thing that started the trend. I blame the people taking advantage of the trend. That's what I blame.
Right.
So yeah, no, I don't blame Fritz. I think Fritz, when it comes to raunchy adult animation, I think Fritz is one of the better things I've seen doing this kind of thing. You know, like taking something that is historically for children but making it really raunchy. I mean, the only other thing I can think of at the moment that I also like that does that better is Meet the Feebles, but that's more has to do with like puppetry and stuff like that.
Right.
But yeah. Do you want to get into the plot now?
Yeah, I guess we should actually talk about the literal plot of the movie. So basically, like, it's kind of a paper thin plot, to be honest. It's just a series of events that happen to this character.
Yes.
Because really, it's just about Fritz himself.
Right.
So Fritz is a college student in New York, and he's like the stereotypical, like, hipster. Like, I guess not really hipster, but like the college student who, like, he's a pseudo-intellectual who thinks he has it all figured out and is too good for all this shit.
Exactly. Yes.
The movie shows time and time again that he is not at all too good for this shit.
No,
and he does not actually know anything he's talking about.
He's a fucking dumbass.
and the thing is that character actually exists in real life. There's hundreds of Fritzes out there.
There's so many Fritzes out there.
And like he keeps acting like this, but like immediately every single time he just gets proven wrong.
Right.
Like he gets proven wrong immediately the first time he does anything. Like the first time he like says his thesis statement for what it is. Like, I'm gonna get out and really live. I'm gonna get out of this place. I'm not gonna listen to the man or anything. He burns his homework and books, and then immediately realizes, oh shit, I burned all my notes and books. And now I'm gonna flunk out of college, and my parents are gonna be so mad. Oh damn, I didn't think this through.
I should get a blanket. The blanket's on fire.
The blanket's on fire. We should call the fire department.
Yeah. No, that is a great scene of him just being like, oh, fuck you guys. I know everything. And it's just like, dude.
And that's the moral of the movie, that Fritz does not know anything at all.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's so interesting about this movie is that your main character is a fucking dumbass, which you can screw that up horribly. Where you can
Fun fact, the main audience for this movie at the time was college students.
Right, exactly. And yet it was still a big hit. Now, was it a big hit because maybe they didn't get it? I mean,
I think it was a big hit, just a matter of that it was like that late 60s, early 70s counterculture,
right.
The anti-Disney film. So that's why, like,
this is
a movie that speaks to us.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It also probably wasn't that. It probably also wasn't expensive to make that expensive either. So like, it probably just turned a profit really easily.
That's true too. Yeah.
We need more mid-budget movies.
We really
bring back the mid-budget movie.
Please.
Why does Indiana Jones 5 cost $250 million to make?
Because they needed 100 people to DH Harrison Ford for the first 30 minutes. That is true. There was a team of 100 people hired just to DH Harrison Ford in that movie.
Because Disney is too big to fail and has all this money they don't know what to do with.
Well.
And they still haven't made a goddamn Mickey Mouse movie.
Nothing lasts forever, Disney.
How long until Disney becomes a Rome and just falls? We need Disney to be back where they were in the 80s and almost dead, so they have to actually try again.
Yeah, we need another Little Mermaid.
We need another Black Cauldron.
We need another Black Cauldron.
They need another Black Cauldron, so they have to make a great Mass Detective.
Exactly.
So that they can then make another Little... Don't say they need another Little Mermaid, because they literally just did.
Oh, shit. You're right. Fuck! No!
We need a Black Cauldron, so they have to do a great Mass Detective again.
Right, exactly. Yeah, that's the way to go.
But yeah, it's like... So Fritz then just kind of like goes on this journey, in quotes, with him just experiencing different things to realize he really does not know what the hell he's doing.
Yeah, like we were saying with the Crow characters, like he goes into Harlem and he thinks he figures out, hey, I know how to save the black people. And
which, for the record, he has that epiphany because he had sex with a black woman.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's the only reason he does that. It's like, I have now had sex while high with a black woman. I have seen God. Revolt! Revolt!
Get the fuck off my car.
That's the most real thing in the movie. Like, revolt! Get the fuck off my car!
Yeah, you're causing a disturbance when there was nothing wrong happening, and then what happens? The cops come in.
I think we need to talk about the bar scene before that, though.
Yeah,
like,
that's true. That's true. Yes.
Okay, he gets in trouble with the cops because, like, the first thing that happens, he gets in trouble with the cops because he went to that party or whatever with those women and had sex a lot. And then marijuana. He steals a cop's gun. He's on the run from. He hides in the synagogue where he tries to sleep with a Jewish woman. I guess. It's kind of confusing.
Yeah, it's.
And then he's just on the run. He's a fugitive. He goes back to his dorm.
That's when he sets everything on fire.
Then he's like out and about again. And then he goes to Harlem. He goes to the bar to hide out.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when he meets Duke. And like. He talks to Duke, and like Duke, like you can just tell, like Duke has met like a million Fritzes at this point. You can just tell from the dialogue.
Yeah, because he's more focused on his game of billiards than he is on whatever Fritz is talking about.
And you can tell he's just trying at the stock lines. It's like, I've heard this exact same speech from a white boy telling me like how he feels bad for us and wants us to get help. Like, I have heard this a million times. Put up or shut up.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
And like eventually he warms around to him because Fritz accidentally helps him win the game of pool against himself.
Yeah.
And so he's like, "Let me buy you a drink." Like, you know what? Maybe this white boy is okay. We'll here, Matt. We'll talk to him. Fritz immediately screws up, saying, "Hey, boy, give me a drink!" Like, and just immediately says something stupid and racist.
Yeah, exactly. He's just like, "Boy, give me a drink," and you're just like, "Dude, come on!"
Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
And there's like the scene where like Fritz then sees like the stand up between Duke and the bartender. After that, like, this is real life, Fritz. You do not know where you are. You do not know what you're talking about at all.
Yeah, exactly. And then he goes with Duke to Big Mama's house. And that's where he gets high, and that's where he has sex with Big Mama. Actually, no, that's when he's like chasing her around.
And that happens like after like the car chase scene, where he like Duke wants to take the car from like the rich guy. Oh right,
and, the
and
car
Fritz
chase.
like says, "Let me drive instead." He's like, "Okay, you're not gonna let him drive the car he found? Okay, sure." Okay, white boy.
Okay,
and then he has no idea what he's doing. I'm driving like a crow. Like, yeah, okay.
Yeah. And then
and he almost gets them killed. He gets them stranded on the bridge.
Right, the bridge. Yeah, the bridge.
Duke, you saved my life. Why? Why did you save him?
Yeah, why? Like, I mean,
so
I get
why.
They
they go to Bertha's house.
Big
and
Bertha,
that's when he has sex with her. And realizes we need to revolt, stand up against the man.
Well, that's when he like takes off all his clothes, and she's just like, "Oh, Fritz,
honey, you're not black enough."
Yeah, and you're just like, "Well, wait a minute, he just took off his shirt. Like he wasn't wearing any pants to begin with." So
I guess he's dickless.
I guess so. No wonder he's not black enough.
But then he causes that disturbance and gets like an actual riot started against the police. And Fritz is thus responsible for the death of many innocent people.
And again,
because Duke gets shot and killed at this point.
Duke gets shot and killed, which was
and other
really
people
upsetting.
in Harlem are getting shot by the police. They're trying to fight back.
Yeah,
the army is called in, and like this is like scenes. These are probably like reminiscent of like the actual civil rights movement too.
Yeah, civil rights movement, the constant like college campus riots that were happening at that time. Yeah, like.
And
it's very synonymous
you can tell like Fritz is not at all prepared for any of this because this is real life. These are real people and lives at stake that you cannot even comprehend.
Yeah, there's that scene.
It ends with him running away.
Well, before
we shall overcome, and then just books it.
Yeah, hiding behind the wall. We shall overcome, and then runs the fuck away. Like you're just
he's
like
he's the guy who like.
He's
the stereotypical student who's like, we need to stick up against the man and talk. He talks big, but he himself is not willing to actually put himself on the line to actually do any of the fighting.
Exactly. Yeah. No. It's That's where like the social commentary is super brilliant, and I love
because
that the
it's
movie,
true.
because it is
And
true,
it's still relevant today.
very relevant today. Yeah, no, and I'm glad the movie is actually pointing that out. You don't often see that in movies nowadays, so like I think that's really appreciative. So, yeah, and then that's when he's like hiding out in the trash can, and that's when his girlfriend, unbeknownst
Who has
to
not
us,
been established in the movie yet at this point.
well, that's the thing, is like there's a character named Winston early on. That's like one of the three bitches he fucks in the
bathtub, yeah.
in the bathtub.
But then there's a different unrelated girl named Winston, which that might have just been like a fuck up on their end, that like that wasn't supposed to be the same name. They just accidentally said it.
Yeah.
Or like reused audio in the wrong place.
Right, exactly. Which,
But like that's
totally
his girlfriend bails him out and like, okay, I'll bail you out. I have money and a car. We'll go live in San Francisco. I'll take care of you.
Right.
He gets bailed out by his girlfriend, who he just like does not give a shit about, even though she like everything Winston says is just correct. Like, you are not doing anything for yourself right now. You are just up your own ass. Like, you are lucky that you have me and that I love you and am willing to do this for you.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
And then he ends up leaving her stranded, which, okay, to be fair, running out of gas was her fault. Just read the damn module.
Yeah, that was the one that was the one thing she was wrong about. That's the one thing that's her fault. Yeah, that was the one thing.
How did you not know you were running out of gas?
Yeah, like there's literally a line there's literally a ticking thing that either says it's either at F or it's at E. If it's at E, you're empty. Like,
which, why did you let it get that far?
Yeah, that's again your own fault.
But then it's like, again, like she sends Fritz to go get gas. So here's a bucket, go get some gas. And then he just strands her there.
Yeah,
and we don't see her for the rest of the movie.
No, we don't. I completely forgot about that. I'm like, oh right, you never see her again.
Yeah. So for all we know, she probably hitchhiked or something.
Right.
Because someone would have seen that car was stranded at the side of the road, got towed.
Right. But
I'm sure she's fine.
I'm sure she's fine, but it's still the act of leaving her. You're just like, dude.
Like that is your, like, again, like, you are nothing without her at this point.
Yeah, exactly.
And like that's when he runs into the Nazi rabbit and the biker girl.
Yes.
And he accidentally becomes a terrorist. Which, like, and that's the whole thing. Like, Fritz, like, the whole time is like, actually live, like, make a change in the world. Like, he talks all this big stuff. But he does not recognize what a fucking Nazi is.
No, because they say revolution.
It's like, because he just hears these buzzwords and thinks he's gonna make a change. But here's in the movie even confirms this, because like there's a scene where like they finally meet their lizard cult, and like the lizard woman asks, "What are his political views?" And the rabbit guy says, "Pretty much nil, honestly."
Yeah,
and that's correct, because Fritz as a character doesn't actually believe in anything.
No. I mean,
he is a complete empty. There is nothing to him. He talks big, but when it actually matters, there's nothing to him. So he's just going to latch onto whatever is in front of him.
Because he's a college kid. He's an impressionable youth.
He doesn't know anything.
Right.
He doesn't believe in anything.
Exactly.
And like whether that was intentional, if that's like the ultimate takeaway from the movie, that like people like this are just empty. They do not actually believe in anything.
Exactly.
Do not listen to them.
Exactly. Yeah, no, that I think it was intentional. Whether or not it was actually executed properly, that's a debate up for whether you as an individual think it is. I personally think it works really well.
Well, yeah, it does work well because it's just true. There are people exactly like Fritz in the world.
Exactly. Yes. Very much.
So, like, it's not at all surprising that when he goes to join the Nazi lizard cult, he's just jacking off in a bed somewhere. And like when they start attacking Harriet, like he's like, "Hey, that's not cool. Don't do that." He's not actually running up to help her at all. He's just like, you shouldn't do that. That's bad.
Yeah, and then afterwards, he's just like, "Hey, I'm real sorry they were doing that to you. They shouldn't have been doing that." It's like, yeah, too little, too late, asshole. And
then it's like he's the one that gets stuck holding the bomb at the end. Because, like, yeah, this guy doesn't believe in anything. He is completely disposable.
He's completely disposable.
Which, for the record, we talked about this while we watched, because we watched the movie together.
Yes.
We watched Fritz together. That is sad. Anyway, like the plan that they had is stupid.
Yeah,
we're going to dismantle LA and their government by blowing up a random power plant.
Yeah.
With a couple sticks of dynamite.
What are you
going to accomplish with that?
if
Like,
anything,
you figure LA is huge. They probably have many power plants.
it's the second
And
biggest
you're gonna
city
take
in the
out,
country.
You're going to take out, like, a single block, if anything, just by doing that.
Yeah.
You are accomplishing nothing.
Yeah, you're taking out a single block.
Which, again, to be fair, they're Nazis, and Nazis are stupid idiots.
Right, exactly.
So they don't believe anything either.
They don't believe anything either. Yeah, exactly. But, like, yeah, you're just going to take out a block of suburbs, and it's just going to be inconvenient at best. Like, it's, again, like, yeah, it ties into that you don't know jack shit, so, like, you're not actually accomplishing anything. So
it's not a real revolution you're joining.
Exactly. I mean, it is just like 3 people in an abandoned church.
Yeah,
maybe the horse.
And
girl.
one of them is only there because it's her boyfriend.
Yeah, exactly.
And the boyfriend doesn't even care about her any way, shape, or form.
No, he's
like the first time we meet them, like he is not paying any attention to her. He is zooted off his mind on heroin.
Yeah,
he's just fixing his bike. He's just driving around. He has not noticed anything. He doesn't even know she's there.
He at first abandons her, and the only reason he goes back to her is because she's holding the heroin needle. Like that's what calls him back to her. Like
it's like he does because he doesn't even notice that she's there, if anything.
Right, exactly. So then, yeah, Fritz has the bomb. He places it in the one section of the power plant.
And then he gets like high and mighty on something. No, I'm not going to do this. This is stupid. I'm going to do a fight for a real cause that actually matters. But by that point, the fuse is lit. He sees it go out like, far out.
Yeah.
Boom.
Boom. Which is, yeah, it's real. That's actually really poignant. How, like, you know what? I'm going to start fighting for a real cause, but it's too little too late at that point because he's gone too far. Now, this is a cartoon, so naturally he lives.
Yeah, he's too horny to die.
He's wrapped up in bandages
what
in the hospital.
fixes his injuries? The girls from the beginning will show back up again with Harriet, and then he wants to have sex with them all.
Yeah. And then
that's the end of the movie.
And that's literally the end of the movie. Like, we're not even exaggerating. Like, it doesn't even have like a pan out shot from the hospital. It's just like, it's him having sex with the girls on the hospital bed. There's sheriff on the other, or like that. Yeah, that sheriff on the outside of the room is just like, that Fritz the Cat. What a guy. And then it just fades into the credits. Like, that's how the movie ends. Oh, Bakshi.
What a film.
I'm so glad we got to talk about it here because this is a movie I'm glad we, again, much like Labyrinth, I'm glad we actually got an opportunity to talk about this movie because I mean, we're saying all this stuff. This isn't even my favorite Bakshi movie. I should preface this.
I should specify, like, again, like, I give the same rating as Showgirls. I don't love this movie. I respect it more than anything.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, it was the first. Like,
yes.
I don't really like this movie on any sort of real level, but, like, I respect it for what it did and recognize that as an important part of animation history and just film history in general.
Yes, very true. Yeah. I guess I like it a little more than you do. I agree with all your criticisms. I have the same exact criticisms. Like, it is,
and to be fair, a lot of those criticisms are in retrospect.
Exactly, in retrospect, of course. It's just that I think this movie is just way too special. Like, I think it does achieve a lot of these things that like later movies just can't. It does have that time capsule feeling to it, where you're just like, oh. Yeah, this is more of a movie for the times. But in a way...
Because you look at it, like, again, like all those problematic elements that were progressive back then are just outright racist or bad today.
Exactly. Or in bad taste. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, no. I completely agree. I completely agree on that. Again, though...
The nudity is just there for nudity's sake.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
But again, when it was made...
Right. Yeah. So,
it's hard to look at it in any way other than when it came out. You kind of have to,
right? Yeah, exactly.
And like, I do think I liked it more on this rewatch than I did initially.
Mm-hmm.
Because you know it's more about like the character of Fritz himself more.
Yes, definitely.
Because Fritz is a terrible character, but in that way, he's a great character.
No, yeah, no. That's what's fascinating about it. Is like, I feel like it's like I was saying, it's very hard to do this where like you're taking an unlikable character and making him the protagonist. Like that is extraordinarily difficult to pull off. But
because it's real.
right, exactly. I feel like
This is a real person. This
Right.
person exists somewhere in the world.
Right, exactly.
You probably met someone like this.
Yeah, you probably are this person for all we know.
The Barstool intellectual.
Exactly. And I feel like this movie like portrays him in that real sort of sense. So then I don't mind that he's such an asshole. Like, you know, at times his asshole behavior can be kind of funny. Whereas like, but also like his asshole behavior at least leads to some really poignant scenes. Like we were saying, the riot scene. Like
and again, like there's also like he's an asshole, but the movie does, like we see time and time again that the movie explicitly does not agree with him.
That's the other thing too, is like, yes, the movie knows for a fact that he's an asshole. So it's not trying to make him sympathetic in that sense. Like,
yeah, because he is wrong. The movie is telling you time and time again, Fritz is wrong about all of this.
And that's fine that he's wrong. Again, he's a college student. He's young. Of course he's going to be wrong. Like, of course. So that's why I really do appreciate what this movie does. Like, it's raw, it's raunchy, a little bit racist, but
there's piss.
There's a lot of piss. That dude was pissing up a storm at the beginning.
Yeah, like it knocks a guy out.
Yeah, it knocks a guy out. It just completely wiped out.
Smacks him on the floor. Like,
smacks
damn.
him on the ground. It's so funny.
My man was frying chicken.
Exactly. Yeah. So, but that's the thing, is like I would rather this movie be the way that it is, warts and all, because I feel like that makes it a lot more special and unique for that. I mean, because it is that time capsule, and I would prefer that. I much prefer that over something a lot more sterile, for sure.
Like that's like the movie is definitely very raunchy. There's a lot of nudity in it. Like honestly, this I feel like compared to Showgirls has probably technically has more. It's a longer movie, but also again, it's like that's a 2-hour movie.
Yes.
Like Fritz the Cat is not even full 80 minutes long, so it feels like there's actually probably more rapidly here in Fritz the Cat than in Showgirls. The Showgirls is more spread out.
Well, at least in Showgirls, like characters sometimes wore pants. Like
right,
characters don't wear pants.
No one's wearing pants in this movie because they're animals.
Because they're animals, right?
But like characters are showing the tits all the time. You see the cop's dick at least twice.
At least.
And then he gets smacked by a cross.
Yeah, I remember that scene.
Funny.
That was very funny.
But like, yeah, the movie is crass and very. There's blood, there's piss. Like if you're squeamish for that and don't want to see that, understandably shouldn't watch. But if you care about animation history, I do say that you should at least check it out.
No, I think yes, I agree. Out of the two movies we've talked about today, I feel like this one should be seen. Showgirls, if you're really curious, I guess I would recommend it. But Fritz the Cat, I think no matter how squeamish you are, at least watch it once. I can't guarantee you're going to like it. I mean, if you really are squeamish, you're definitely not going to like it. But I think it is still an important movie, especially if you are like an animation fan. Yes, this is an absolute necessary watch for sure.
Yeah, like, I'm sure, like, some of the people that, like, some of our friends are going to be listening to this, like, okay, maybe I'll check it. I'm sure, they're probably going to hate it. Well, but, like, I think it's definitely important for animation history that I think you should at least owe it to yourself to see what it is about.
Right, exactly.
And Showgirls, even, I would also recommend on that level of, if you're curious, definitely watch it to see which side of the fence you're on between The Worst Thing Ever or Secret Genius.
Right, exactly.
And if you are on the side of Secret Genius, tell us what we're missing.
Please, by all means, please, I'm begging you. I'm still sitting on the fence at this moment. So, yeah, well, so again, like I said, I own this on Blu-ray. The exact Blu-ray you own of it, the Kino Lorber one.
Because it's the only Blu-ray that's available.
It's the only Blu-ray that's available.
And it took until, like, last year or a year before to even get this out on Blu-ray?
Yeah, it did take a while, which I get it, because it's Fritz the fucking Cat, but, like, also...
It's an important movie, though.
It's Fritz the fucking Cat. Like, yeah. Like, this is...
Yeah, that's, like, the cool thing right now, because, like, people who don't know, like, they go to Walmart and Target, Best Buy, they see the movie section shrinking rapidly as time goes on. They were probably
Mm.
assuming that like the physical media market is dying.
Nope.
That's not even true.
No.
The truth of it is that if anything, it's in a similar vein to the vinyl record industry where the market just shifted. It went underground. It's a collector market now.
Exactly.
There are people who like do collect physical media then who are saying that we're in a golden age right now, if anything.
Yeah.
We are getting so many things that such a high quality that we would never have gotten before, like stuff that like there's like indie films that never would have gotten released, like micro budget cinema from like the 60s is getting box sets. The Santo movies, the Mexican wrestler movie star guy, his stuff is getting released on Blu-ray now in big box sets.
Yeah.
All this stuff is being done with such care. Showgirls got the Vinegar Syndrome Ultra release that we talked about with the booklet, the hard case, and everything. Beastmaster got that. Like, we're kind of like living in like a great era. Like last month, Arrow put out that amazing Empire Video box set that has like Robot Jocks, Dolls, Arena, Dungeon Master that has like such high quality. Each movie has like free lobby cards and a double-sided poster with the new artwork and everything on it. Big new restorations, the best they could get with that.
Yeah.
Like just an amazing looking case. It looks amazing on the shelf.
Yeah.
Like a couple years ago, Shout Factory did the Friday the 13th box set with everything in it, which was incredible because like the rights for those movies is split across Paramount and Warner Brothers, and they got the deal worked out to put them all in one set. Like, we're living in like a great time for physical media. The problem is that you just need to know where to look.
Yeah, exactly.
And the sad thing is most people don't know where to look.
It is very sad. Like you were saying, like Target, Best Buy, like Walmart. Yeah, I've been to Target like a couple of times the past few months. I always frequent the movie section. It's depressing, man. Like, it is so depressing just looking at like the same shit over and over again. And I'm just like, I could buy this.
It's like, I want the Fritz to 4K. It's not at Target or Walmart. It's only at Best Buy.
Right, exactly. So, again, that's why I always bring up Bull Moose on this podcast. Like, that is the place I go to get my movies, because not only do they have like a huge pre-owned collection, like they have like a Blu-ray boutique section. Like, they have all the Vinegar Syndromes, the Criterion collections, the Shout Factories, the Arrows.
FYE, my FYE doesn't get everything in, but they do get some things. Like, they get stuff from 88 Films every now and then. It's like that. I got the Dragons Forever 4K big box set they did for that. They did I got the Super Cop one. I didn't get in the line of duty from them, but like I ordered that online. But like,
right.
And like that's like 88 Films. That's a label that's been around the UK for all, that usually does like horror films and martial arts stuff. They started releasing stuff in America last year. They haven't done any of the horror stuff yet, but they've been doing a lot of martial arts stuff. And it's like Shaw Brothers stuff, the In the Line of Duty stuff with Michelle Yeoh and Cynthia Rothrock. You got Jackie Chan films, Sammo Hung. Arrow's doing a lot of martial arts stuff now. Like, we're getting things we never gotten before now.
We are so close to getting Kung Fu from Beyond the Grave on Blu-ray. We are so close.
Dude, I want them to like release the Riccio set in America.
Oh yeah, that would be awesome.
And it's like, if you're from Shafrillis, you know, like Michigan Monster. I'm the one who found that. I found that because Arrow Video put it on Blu-ray, and I blind bought it from them because, like, yeah, the word monster in the title. I like monsters. And look at where we're at now. I never would have found it if Arrow Video never put that out.
Exactly. Yeah. No, you're 100% right.
If you want to know, like, what is happening with physical media, go to Blu-ray.com and check the release counter. I swear to God, there is at least 30 things, new releases every week, and you're never going to find them in stores. They're only online that you got to look for.
Right, exactly.
Did you guys know that the 2000s Duck Dodgers animated series was released on Blu-ray this year?
I know because of you.
Yeah, like, you're not going to find that at Walmart or Best Buy. You might find it at Barnes & Noble, of all places.
Yeah, you might.
But otherwise, you gotta check on Primal. Season 2 got released on Blu-ray recently. Like, you gotta know where to look. Go check the Blu-ray release counter on Blu-ray.com.
Please do, yeah.
Like, keep checking that. See what's new every month. There is so much stuff that you never like. A lot of it is catalog titles from like years ago that never would get the big reception at retail, but online it's perfect.
Yeah.
A lot of horror movie stuff. There's like a lot of physical media collectors are actually like horror movie fans because like they have like nostalgia for the video store, and that was a big part of that.
Yeah.
So yeah, like definitely check that to see what you're missing. the writer's strike is going on now. The SAG strike just started. Next year's going to be fucky because executives are stupid and won't pay the writers.
Nope.
So when we're in a slump next year, go back and look at what you missed.
Exactly.
There's so much from decades past you have never even seen. So, like, you're never going to watch everything. Use that downtime to see what hidden gems you've missed.
Yeah. Why do you think I started this podcast? I have so many things from years past that, like, I've never seen. Like, that's why I'm doing this.
This is why I give you guys a hard time on Letterboxd when I review Dario Argento movies that get, like, free like reviews.
Exactly.
And then I review a random Ghibli film, and it's like 20 likes. Fuck you guys, watch something else.
Watch something else, for the love of God.
Ghibli's great, but it's the Disney of anime.
That's very
And that's
true.
not even that much of a joke. Disney's the one that localized those movies in the 2000s.
So it's a dual layered joke there. Yeah.
Like I saw like Kaiser memes like got in trouble on Twitter a couple weeks ago because they said like all the people, the animation is cinema folks, and it's like only watching Disney and DreamWorks movies. Like people try to flex on them saying, no, it's not true. I watch Ghibli. Like that is the most mainstream anime you could have pulled.
Yeah.
This guy reviews vintage anime from the 80s and 90s all the time on YouTube. They've done like the big retrospective on Looney Tunes. You are not on their level.
Yeah, you
don't
correct.
know what you're talking about. They do.
Exactly.
Go back and watch something else.
Yeah.
Go watch a Discotheque stream to see what they're localizing.
Yeah.
The Toei Puss in Boots movie is finally getting a Blu-ray release soon. That's where the Toei Animation logo comes from.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
I had Olivia
Yes to
watch
all
The
of
Little
this.
Prince and the Eight-Headed Dragon last week. That movie's from the early 60s. It's anime. It's better anime than most Disney movies from that era.
Mhm.
Akira Ifukube did the score for that movie. He did like all the iconic Godzilla themes. Check that, the Japanese version of that. If you can find it, check that out. Don't watch the dub though. The dub sucks.
Right.
But like, check out the original version. Like, there's so much cool stuff out there you've never even seen. That's the point of why we're doing this.
Exactly.
That's why we're telling you to watch Showgirls of all things.
Well, that's that. I want to tie into that. Like, honestly, like I was sort of pissed that like Showgirls was like the very first Vinegar Syndrome physical release that I was talking about on this podcast. But like, honestly, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Also one of the more it's one of the more well-known things, but like, it's still a cult thing.
It is a cult thing.
Not everyone's going to know about it, and like it's an amazing release. Again, like
It
look
is.
up the pictures, look up an unboxing of it if you want to see what it looks like. It's an incredible release.
Yeah, I'm going to have so many pictures of this for the podcast. But like the point I want to make is please go to Vinegar Syndrome. Please look at their collection. Get something. Discover
Like, hey,
something.
there's a lot of garbage there, but like, hey, it's good garbage.
There's so
and
much
check out their
garbage.
partner labels too. Like their partner labels are great. Like
Yeah.
Deaf Crocodile is becoming like one of my favorite ones on there because like they're releasing like a lot of like films from like Russia or like anime films from Romania that like I never would have seen. And they're incredible stuff. Like
Mm-hmm.
Ilya Muromets, I would recommend. Like that's a great movie that tells like a Russian folk tale epic poem. And like the only way to watch that movie in America before them was like the butchered Roger Corman AIP version called The Sword and the Dragon, which is only known about because it was on Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Right. That sounds about right.
So it's like, don't watch the butchered American version. Watch the original Russian version. Like, it's the cinematography in that thing is amazing.
Yeah.
Like, I wasn't huge on A Message from Space, but like just the fact that like a Romanian animated film from the 80s, like an adult animated film from Romania from the 80s got a Blu-ray release, and others from there are getting there. Like, that's great. They're doing like, I put in a pre-order recently for like a release they're doing called The Pied Piper, which is like a Czechoslovakian stop motion retelling The Pied Piper from a couple years back.
Mm-hmm.
That just looks awesome. Like,
Yeah.
the partner labels are doing awesome things. Like, the American Genre Film Archive is reissuing their Hollywood double feature. That's the one that has Who Killed Captain Alex on it.
Nice.
That's getting reissued with and it's getting like the Vinegar Syndrome slip on it.
Oh, dude. Who framed? You got me saying
Who
who framed.
killed? Yeah.
Who killed Captain Alex with the Vinegar Syndrome logo on it? Thank God.
Well, it'd be from AGFA, but
Right.
still, like, it'd get their slipcover because all the partner labels, if you order the slipcover, it's the same quality Vinegar Syndrome slipcover.
Right. Exactly.
Like, check out Vinegar Syndrome. Check out Kino Lorber. Kino Lorber put out Death Wish with Charles Bronson on 4K recently. They're doing other awesome things.
Yeah.
Go to Shout Factory. They're like the most known.
We've talked about Shout Factory.
It is July. The Criterion sale's happening right now. Arrow Video's doing their summer sale.
Yeah.
Synapse, check them out. They do like a lot of the Dario Argento films over here and other cult horror movies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we talked about Shout Factory before because we talked about the Army of Darkness 4K when we talked about
and like
the Evil
we're
Dead
talking about them
trilogy.
again because of Friday the 13th.
Yeah,
They did that one of the most legendary things they did was many years ago. They did that big Halloween box set of all the movies, which was like an incredible achievement because there's like 3 or 4 companies involved with all those movie rights.
Mm-hmm.
Like all the work that has to go done with these boutique labels is incredible.
Yeah,
like give all of them love. Yeah,
please.
it's gonna their releases are gonna be more expensive, but because they're indie.
Yeah,
and like they put in the work. They're like so many goddamn special features. A lot of it's original. Even they'll give you like goodies and posters.
I still have my Army of Darkness poster hanging up behind me.
Yeah, that's like a movie-sized poster too.
Yeah, exactly.
Like actual movie theater-sized poster that you're getting from them.
Yeah,
they found like they did the Kong 76 release. They found and restored the TV version of the movie.
Oh,
the 3-hour TV cut of that movie.
Yeah.
Like, damn.
Yeah. This is all
like,
incredibly
geeky,
work. But like, yeah, this is all incredibly geeky and dorky, but like that's a good thing.
Like people complain about like Blu-ray releases sucking out. You get a Warner Brothers movie from the store. It has that stock menu that looks like there's just a PNG with the menu slapped on it.
Mm-hmm.
There's like bare bones special features, and like people say like, oh, they don't put any effort in it. Then you look at like a boutique label release,
mm-hmm.
and it's a goddamn labor of love.
So much so.
Like, that's why I get annoyed on Twitter when I always see people saying, they don't make DVDs like they used to anymore. Or, like, they bring up the Shrek 2 menu and Far, Far Away Out. Like, yeah, that's awesome. But, like, you do not know what the fuck you're talking about.
Exactly. It's like, yeah, no shit they don't do that anymore because guess what? The files weren't that big back in the day on DVDs.
Yeah, like, go back to watch one of those DVDs on your modern HD TV. You can count the fucking pixels.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, I'm dreading I have an old Cable Guy DVD I'm dreading putting back in just to see what it looks like. It's gonna look like garbage.
Yeah.
Like, I've seen my sister watch old DVDs on her 4K TV, because she actually has a 4K TV.
Right.
And, like, holy shit, this is like burn on demand, or it's garbage quality. I can count the pixels. Holy shit.
Yeah. I mean, look, there is still... I do have nostalgia for DVDs sometimes, as long as, like, you know... Because, like, as long as it looks fine, like, I don't really care whether it's Blu-ray quality or DVD quality. Like, if the box is really cool, I'm gonna keep it. But again,
it's like a more recent movie. Like, it's gonna be harder to tell. You can definitely tell if you're looking.
Exactly.
But
that too. That's also important.
For most people, aren't gonna. But like the older stuff, especially before they went to digital, like pre-2006, those copies probably won't hold up quality-wise.
Right. Yeah.
There's a reason a lot of those movies got a second DVD later on. Where coincidentally all the bonus features was on a second disc. I wonder why.
Yeah, suspicious.
Because otherwise you have to compress the shit out of it.
Right, exactly.
DVDs have 4.7 gigabytes of storage. I guarantee you that this video we're watching right now on YouTube, the file size is going to be bigger than that.
Probably.
You cannot fit this on a DVD, at least not a regular one.
Not a regular one, no.
You couldn't fit the Yomo cut on a DVD.
You could not fit the Yomo cut on a DVD. Oh, that's right. We're in a post-Yomo cut world.
You know, people keep asking us where to watch it. Like, he has the drive link up on his channel. Yeah. And frankly, you can make your own version of it. Just download the movies and splice them to yourself in Vegas.
Exactly. Like, it's not
hard. You can make your own version of the movie, guys. Come on.
Yeah. Be creative, for fuck's sake.
Yeah. Stop bitching at Mordo. The man did his job.
Yeah, the man did do his job, and he did a great job.
That's why, like, the 5 minutes it was on Letterboxd, like, I felt bad seeing like the negative reviews for like, okay, yeah, it's a terrible experience, but like, I feel bad for him in that case. Like,
exactly, yeah,
he did it just to see that it could be done, and it was funny.
Yes, you know what?
Like,
yes.
Don't give it a rating at that point.
Exactly. So yeah, shout out to Mordo, shout out to the Yomo cut. I can't wait.
You'll
for
see him. You'll probably see him in the next episode too.
Yeah, probably the next episode. Oh, brother. All right. Well, then you know what? We got to.
I think we should wrap it up. Yeah,
we should wrap it up because no. Look. last minute thing. I completely agree with what you're saying. You are 100% right. Like this needs to be said. Like absolutely, like buy physical. There's so many good things out there. As I was saying, check out Vinegar Syndrome. I really want to get to stuff like Tammy and the T-Rex and New York Ninja someday, because those are better movies than Showgirls. But if Showgirls...
Well, better in quotes.
Better in quotes, fair. But like...
Technically, they're worse movies, but...
But they're better experiences.
Because New York Ninja is just an entire thing on in and of itself.
Exactly. Yes.
New York Ninja is impressive in the fact that it exists.
Yes, that is very, very
And
true.
we'll leave it at that.
We'll leave it at that. But yes, if Showgirls had to be the episode where we get to gush about Vinegar Syndrome, then so be it. So,
And just all the boutique labels, really.
Exactly. Yes, exactly.
I can't wait for this video to get 200 views. Anyway,
William, please shout out your stuff. Where can people find you?
it's in the link in the description.
All right, very fair enough. You know what? I'll take this opportunity to say, go watch the Emo Cut. Find Mordo's channel. Go watch the Emo Cut. Torture yourselves. Also, check out Dog Police. That's the other thing.
Oh, yeah, watch the Dog Police music video. It's 3 minutes long. You'll thank us later.
Exactly. Well, thank you, William, for coming on and talking about Showgirls and Fritz the Cat. Nobody else would have.
You're damn right. I'm the reason you own both of these movies.
You are the reason I own both of these movies. Exactly. So yeah, thanks for that. And thank you, the listener, for listening to us ramble about these fucking movies. If you want to support the show, give a like, give a comment, listen to us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts or YouTube as well. That's fine too. Doesn't matter. But yeah, thanks for listening. And always remember, they killed Fritz.
They killed Fritz!
They killed Fritz! All right, bye-bye, everybody. Just